Republicans in the House have set up what I'm sure they think of as a very clever trap to ensnare Democrats in this resolution that is ostensibly designed to honor the life of Charlie Kirk after his tragic assassination. And on some level, it does that. It says nice things about Charlie Kirk. It says that they're opposed to violence. And when they talk about being opposed to violence, they didn't even say like specifically that it's left-wing violence or something. So I will give the Republicans credit on that, and just that, no further beyond that, because they are attempting to set up something that is performative, which fine, we've done things like this before. There was actually one of these after Melissa Hortman was tragically killed. So at least there's consistency here. But then they stuff the resolution full of a bunch of other stuff designed to make this difficult, if not impossible, for some Democrats to sign on to. And one House Democrat says people are worried that we're being totally set up. So how are they being set up? What does that look like? Well, among many paragraphs of things about Charlie Kirk, some of them just descriptive about his family, about him having set up, turning point or whatever. They say, whereas Charlie Kirk became one of the most prominent voices in America, engaging in respectful civil discourse across college campuses, media platforms, and national forums, always seeking to elevate truth, foster understanding, and strengthen the republic. That's just like your opinion, man. Some of that's true, and some of it is your opinion. And by the way, I understand it's very easy for a Republican to write every word of that because they always did feel respected by his advocacy. Many people did. Many people felt very seen and understood by it. But there were other communities that did not feel like respect was being fostered, that tolerance or understanding was being fostered. And what strengthens or weakens the republic is not an objective thing that everyone will agree on, but they are putting it in here as if we all agree on it. And they are demanding the Republicans agree with every bit of this. You don't have to have things like that in there. In the one with Melissa Hortman, they didn't add a whole bunch of stuff that's very much up for debate about her legacy. They're choosing to do it in this case to get Democrats to proactively participate in whitewashing his reputation. And again, that has nothing to do with the tragedy of the attack, which I have a million times been very clear on, and that should totally be in this resolution. And you can have stuff about Charlie Kirk and the work he did. You can recognize that he brought millions of young people into politics, many of them conservatives. He made a lot of conservative college students feel seen in a way that other commentators might not. Put that in there. You can put that in there. But they're putting stuff in there that they know Democrats don't agree with because they want them to vote for stuff that they don't truly believe. They go on to say, whereas Charlie Kirk became one of the most prominent, I believe I put the wrong one in for the second one. There was other stuff there too. Now, I want to move now to those who don't necessarily think that they can vote for this. And the only one I've so far seen that's been very clear about this is Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas. She says she plans to vote against the resolution, saying, quote, not sure what is honorable about many of Kirk's past statements. Now, asked about concerns of GOP backlash, she says she lives, quote, under their heinous threats every single day, and suggested Democrats should not be like Republicans who have, quote, abdicated their duties out of fear. And let me just pause to say, thank you, Jasmine Crockett. Thank you for being, as she often is, one of the only fighters in the House, willing to point that out. And I just want to remind everyone, it's like, why would Jasmine Crockett potentially have an issue with this, with a statement that everything that Charlie Kirk ever said was respectful, everything was about tolerance and understanding? Well, he did once call her a circus act, and he also said she's part of the great replacement of white people, specifically saying she's just some circus act in that entire operation. You shouldn't take what she says seriously. It's just a joke. What she represents is very serious, which is the continued attempt to eliminate the white population in this country. Now, look, I want to preemptively apologize for quoting him. I'm not sure if that's legal yet, but he said that. That's the context. And when you say that she's a circus act, okay, we can debate exactly what he means about that. I have my suspicions about what he means about that. But even setting that aside, he said she's trying to do genocide against white people. Is she supposed to say, whatever, forget about it? It was always honorable. It was always tolerant. It was always understanding. The white genocide part? Why is she obligated? Why is she uniquely stripped of free speech, stripped of the ability to exercise free will and autonomy. Why does she need to sign on to this? And the Republicans are the ones forcing this difficult decision on the Democrats. They could have put up a resolution to honor Charlie Kirk like they did with Melissa Hortman. They are choosing not to do that. And there are other Democrats that are saying they're undecided. Progressive Caucus Chair Greg Casar, also of Texas. There are others who plan to vote present. And again, they're all in a very difficult position because if they don't vote for this, they might be censured in the House for all that we know. Again, we do not live in a free society. This entire story, this entire news cycle is continuing proof of that. And if they want to just vote present, or by the way, even if some of these Democrats want to vote yes, again, I'm not even gonna get too down on them. It's just a resolution to honor him. Symbolically, I don't like that their arms are being twisted to agree with statements they don't think are factually true. But still, the entire thing is ridiculous. There's one more House Democrat who says, I always try to be respectful in times of tragedy or horrific events like this, but they are politicizing his death in ways I'm not comfortable with. And it's very important to make that distinction. I understand Republicans will pretend not to understand the distinction. They've already done it with Jimmy Kimmel. None of this is a criticism of Charlie Kirk. When you say the Republicans are politicizing it, that cannot be a criticism of Kirk or his family. That is a criticism of politicians. And again, I was born into a country where we're legally allowed to criticize politicians. Politicians that up until recently we all agreed are likely to be self-serving, slimy snake oil salesmen. And so the idea that, oh no, not this time. No, they're all being super serious. They all really believe this. They're not trying to be tricky or anything. They're speaking from their heart with this. Get the hell out of there. They never have before, they never will, they damn sure aren't right now. And so we'll see what ends up happening, Jasmine Crockett. I can only say to the representative, I have your back. Hopefully other people do. And if you want to come on the show and talk about this, understanding that it's a difficult topic, we would love to have you on. If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.